Hello friends, welcome to my channel Keep Learning. Today we are going to learn Java programming. So this video series is a complete experience of the Java and object-oriented programming. This video will help you to learn the Java language with the unique method that goes beyond the syntax and how to manual and help you to understand how to be a great programmer. You will learn language fundamental, generic, threading, networking and distributed programming, and you will learn to build a string the .com game and machine chat with the client along the way. Setting up Java, download J2SE software development kit from the link given in the description. You can see according to your Windows, Linux or MacBook, you can download the version whichever suitable you to your OS, and the software development kit does not include the API documentation and you need that. Go back to java.sun.com and get the J2SE API documentation. You can also access the API docs online without downloading them, but that's the pain. Trust us, it's worse than the download. And set the path of the Java. So once you have downloaded, you need to add an entry to your path environment variable that point to the bin recovery inside the main Java dictionary. Go to the control panel, into the system, into the advanced system setting, and go to the environment variable. To the control panel, go to the advanced system setting, then go to the environmental variable, then type the new in the system variable, press new. Then you can copy the address where you downloaded your Java software development kit. Copy the address as a text. Variable name gives the path and variable value gives your path that you are copying. Paste it down here. Press OK and apply. So this is how you can set the path of the Java to your computer. And if you want to check, open the command prompt in your computer, type the Java C, and you will get the code that Java is successfully installed. Java takes you to new places. From its humble release to the public, Java seduces the programmer with its friendly syntax, object-oriented features, memory management, and best of all, the promise of the portability. The way Java works. The goal is to write one application and have it work on whatever device your friends have. First is the source code for the interactive party invitation. To create a source code document, use an established protocol, in this case the Java language. Second one is a compiler. Run your document through a source code compiler. The compiler checks for the errors and won't let you compile until they satisfy that everything will run correctly. Third one is output code. The compiler creates a new document coded into the Java bytecode. Any device capable of running Java will be able to interpret or translate this byte into something it can run. The compiler bytecode is platform independent. Fourth one is a virtual machine. Your friends does not have a physical Java machine, but they have all a virtual Java machine implemented in a software running inside their electronic gadget. The virtual machine reads and runs the bytecode you will do in Java. So you will type a source code file, compile it using the Java C compiler, and then run the compiled bytecode on the Java virtual machine. Type your code and save as party.java. Type this code shown in the screen. Compile the party.java file by running the Java C, the compiler application. If you don't have errors, you will get a second document named party.class. The compiler generated party.class file is made up by the bytecode. Third one is compiled code. This is the party.class file. Run the program by starting the Java virtual machine with the party.class file. The JVM translates the bytecode into something the underlying platform understand and run your program. This is not meant to be a tutorial. You will be writing the real code in a moment, but for now, we just want to get a feel or how it all fits together. Code structure in Java. This is the source file. So put a class in a source file, put a method in a class file, and put a statement in a method. So what goes in the source file? The source code file with the .java extension holds one class definition. The class represents a piece of your program. All through a very tiny application might need just a single class. The class must go within a pair of curly braces. Okay, so this is the class file that included in the source file. The public class, we name dog as a class file here. So what goes in the class? So class has one or more method. In the dog class, the bark method will hold the instruction for how the dog should bark. Your methods must be declared inside a class. In other words, within the curly braces of the class. What goes in the method? So within the curly braces of the method, write your instruction for how that method should be performed. Method code is basically a set of the statement, and for now you can think of a method kind of the function or procedure. So here we can write statement 1, statement 2, any number of the statement in the void bar that we define as a method. Anatomy of a class. So when the JVM starts running, it's look for the class you give it at the command line. Then you start looking for a specifically returned method that looks exactly like public static void main string args. Your code is goes within the curly brackets. Next, the JVM runs everything between the curly braces of your main method. Every Java application has to at least one class and at least one main method. Not one main per class, just one main per application. So this is a public class my first app. This is a public so everyone can access it. So class, this is the class. My first name, the name we give to the class, and this is the open curly braces for the class. Second one is public static void main string args. Public so everyone can access it. Static, we will cover this one in the later videos. Void, the return type void means there is a no return value. Main, so the name of this method we call the main. String args, argument to the method. This method must be given an array of the string and array will be called args. This is the opening brace of the method. In this there is a statement system.out.print hello everyone. So this says print the standard output system.out.print and the string we want to print, this is the hello everyone. And every statement in the Java must end in a semicolon. Close the curly braces of the main method, close the curly braces with the my class. Don't worry about memorizing anything right now. Writing a class with a main. In Java, everything goes in a class. You will type your source code with the file .java extension. So here we name this code as a my first app.java. Then compile it into compiler, and the compiler creates the new file with the class extension. So here my first app.java file compiled into the my first app.class. So when you run your program, you're really running a class. Running a program means telling the Java virtual machine to load my first app class, then starting executing its main method. Keep running it all the code in the main is finished. The next video we will go deeper into the whole class things, but for now all you need to think is how do I write Java code so that it will run, and it all begins with the main. The main method is where you your program start running no matter how big your program is. In the other word, no matter how many classes your program uses, they go to the main method to get the ball rolling. What can you say in the main method? So once you are inside the main method or any method, the fun begins. You can say all the normal things that you say in most programming language to make the computer do something. Your code can tell the JVM to do something at the statement, declaration, assignment, method call, etc. So here we can give a string name as a Kriti, x to multiply of the 10, and print simply system.out.print x is plus x. Double t is equal to math.random. So this is a random function that we can see in the next videos. Second one is do something again and again. So that's the loop for and while. So here we can use while loop whether for when, how many times x is greater than 12, the loop is running. Third one is do something under this condition. So this is called the branching. If else statement is in that. Okay. So we understand this whole code more details in the next video. Let's continue this. Let's look at some of the basic syntax of the Java programming. Each statement must end in a semicolon. So here statement is x is equal to x plus 1 that ended with the semicolon. A single line command begins with the two forward slashes. So x is equal to 22 that will run in the JVM, but forward double slashes begins. This is command statement doesn't run in the JVM because it's command because it start with the forward double slash. Most white spaces doesn't matter. So any number out of white space between the two words or two letters doesn't mean in the Java. Variables are declared with the name and the type. So integer weight. So here the variable name is weight and variable type is integer. Classes and method must be defined within a pair of the curly braces. So classes and method that begins with the curly braces and end with the curly braces. That is the basic rules in the Java programming. Loop in Java. Java has a three standard looping construct: while, do while, and for. You will get full loop video later in this video series, but not for a while. Let's do a while for now. So the syntax, not to mention logic, is so simple you are probably asleep already. As long as some condition is true, you do everything inside the loop block. The loop block is bounded by a pair of the curly braces, so whatever you want to repeat need to be inside that block. The key to a loop is condition test. In a Java, condition test is expression that result in a boolean value. In other words, something that is either true or false. If you say something like while ice cream in the tub is true, keep scooping. You have cleared the boolean test. There is either is ice cream in the tub or there isn't. You can do a simple boolean test by checking the value of the variable using a comparison operator including less than, greater than, equality. Yes, that's the two equal sign. Notice the difference between assignment operator, a single equal sign, and the equal operator. There is a two equal sign. Lots of programmers accidentally type single equal sign while they want double equal, but not you. Now let's see the program. Integer x equals to 4. Assign 4 to the x while x is greater than 3. Open curly bracket. Loop code will run because x is greater than 3. Now x is equal to x minus 1, or we have loop forever. Okay. Now the while loop is closed. Integer z equals to 27. Now while Z double equals to 17 means now we assign value 17 to the Z. So if here not equals to Z, the loop code will not run because Z is not equal to 17. Okay, so let's see an example of a while loop. So example of the while loop, the public class loopy. We define the loopy as a class, public static void main, string arg, that's our normal method, integer x equals to 1. Here we define x, assign the value 1 to the x, system.out.println before the loop, while x is less than 4. So here x is less than 4, so the while loop is running system.out.println in the loop and system.out.println value of the x is, this is our, and including x. So now x is equal to x plus 1. So we increase the x by the plus 1. Okay, so this is the output. So first x is equal to 1. So they print before the loop, in the loop, and value of the x is 1. Another time value of the x is increased by 1. So in the loop value of the x is 2. Another time x is increased by 1. In the loop value of the x is now 3. So now the value of the x is increased by 1. So it's 4. So 4 is not less than 4. So the while loop is end, and this is after the loop. We're printing the last statement. Conditional branching. In Java, and if the test is basically the same as the Boolean test in a while loop. Expect instead of saying while there is a still here, you will say if there is a still here. The code executes the line that print x must be 3 only if the condition x is equals to 3 is true, regardless of whether it is true through the line that prints. This runs no matter what will run. So depending on the value of the x, either one statement or two will print out. But we can add an else to the condition so that we can say something like if there is a still beer, keep coding, else otherwise get move beer and then continue on. So let's look at example. So this class if test. So we define the class name as a if test. Public static void main string args integer x equals to 3. If x equals to 3, so we here define the condition. If x is equals to 3, system.out.println x must be 3. Okay, and the if loop is over and system.out.println this runs no matter what because this x equals to 3. So this is output of it. X must be 3 and this run no matter what. Okay, another, now we include else in it. So class if test integer x equals to 2. Here is value 2 is assigned to the x. If x equals to 2, that's not true. System.out.println. If statement condition is not true here, so the operation is go to the else. So else system.out.println x is not 3. Okay, so this run no matter what. So here output is x is not 3, and this run no matter what. Okay, so now system.out.println versus system.out.print. If you have been attention, of course you have, then you have noticed us switching between print and println. Did you spot the difference? System.out.println instead a new line. Think of println as a print new line, while the system.out.print keeps the printing to the same line. If you want to each thing you print out to be on its own line, use the println. If you want to everything to the stick together on a one line, use the print. Coding a serious business application. So let's put all your new Java skill to good use with something practical. We need a class with a main, an integer and a string variable, a while loop and an if test. A little more polish and you will building that business backend in no time. But before you look at the code on this page, think for a moment about how you would code that classic children's favorite 99 bottle of beer. So this is a code for the 99 bottle of the beer song. So here we define the beer song as a class, public static void main string args, integer beer number equals to 99, string word equals to water, while beer number is greater than 0, so this is while loop is starting. Now if loop is starting, if beer number equals to 1, world we assign the bottom singular as a one bottom, system.out.print beer number, we can add the blank space and then we add the word that is bottom the beer on the wall. So at the end of this, take it down, pass it around. Beer number is now increased. This is decrease. Decrease by 1. So 99 to 98, then 97, up to 3, 2, 1. And when the bottle number is 0, the last print statement, beer number world, beer on the wall. So this is a 0. The system not out the println, there is no bottle on the wall. There's the metric code. Okay, so the beer song wasn't really a serious business application. Still needs something practical to show to the boss. Check out how the phrasometrics code works. The public class phrasometric public static void main string arg. So how it works? In a nutshell, the programmer makes a three list of words, then randomly picks one word from each of the three lists and print out the result. Don't worry if you don't understand exactly what's happening in each line. For Ghost Tech, you have got the whole video series ahead of you, so relax. For support number 1, the first step is to create the three strings array, the container that will hold all the words. Declaring and creating an array is an easy. Each word is in the code. As all good string must be and separated by the comma. So here we are making the three sets of word to choose from the each this list. So string word list 1, string word list 2 and string word list 3. So here we created the three lists. Number 2, for each of the three lists or array, the goal is to pick the random one. So we have to know how many words are in each list. If there are the 14 words in a list, then we need a random number between 0 to 30. Java arrays are the 0 base, so the first word is at the position 0. The second word is position 1 and the last word is in the position 13 in a 14 element. Okay, quite handily. A Java array is more than happy to tell you a length. You just have to ask. So here we ask integer one length equal to word list 1 dot length. So here we use the dot length command. Number 3, we need a 3 random number. The random method return a random number between 0 and whatever number you want. Here is a not quite one. So we have to multiply it by the number of the element, the array length. In the list we are using, we have to force the result to be an integer, no decimal allowed. So we put in a cast. So here integer rand1. So we put it in the integer class max.random and multiply by one length that we define for the length of the word list 1. Another is number 4. Now we get to build the phrases by picking a word from each of the three lists and summing them together, also inserting space between the words. We are using the plus operator which concatenates the string object together. To get an element from an array, you give an array the index number or the position of the things you want to use. So here, string phrase equals to word list 1, rand1, random one, that is integer 1. Here we can include the concatenate operation plus, so the space is there. Word list 2 is equal to random 2 plus the space is there, and word list 3 is equal to random 3. So the random 1, random 2 and random 3, that is the position we give to our single string phrase. So word list 1, pick the random one from the word list 1 string. Okay. Number 5, finally we print the phrase to the command line and print the result. The code, see the output and arrange the code free to add as many as of those you need. So can you arrange the code snippet to make a working Java program that produces the output listed below? A minus B and C minus D. So some of the curly braces fell on the floor and they were too small to pick up. So feel free to add as many as those as you need. Okay, so let's see the result. So arrange the code to see output. So this is output A minus B and C minus D. So we're writing the code here. So class, we give the name as Safet1. Public static void main string args. Integer x equals to 3. So we are giving the while x is equal to this. X is greater than 0. So while loop is opening and we run the first code if x is greater than 2. So that's x equals to 3. So here x is greater than 2. So system.out.print. The a variable is printed. So in the output you can see a. And another, we decrease the x by 1. So now system.out.print is printing the dash. So x is decreased by 1 and we printing the dash. Another time if the x is equals to 2. So now x is 2. So system.out.print we print a b and c. Another time x is minus 1, system.out.print dash. So the dash is printed, and if x equals to 1, that is 1 because another time x is decreased by the 1, so it's now is 1. So system.out.print d, another time x is minus 1. So now x is 0, so 0 is not greater than 0, so while loop is ending, and our output is a minus b and space c minus t. Okay, so we will learn more in the next videos. Thank you for watching this video. See you in the next video. Goodbye.